Hello and welcome back to another edition of Good Morning Pattaya, Pattaya Channel's very own breakfast show. I'm your host, Nick Pendrell, and joining me back once again is the delightful Carolyn. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much, Nick.
Nice to see you again.
Thank you. It's lovely to be back.
It is indeed always a nice way to start the day.
It is.
And our guest today is Mike from the Blue Lagoon. Welcome to Good Morning Pattaya, Mike.
Thank you, Nick. Nice to be here.
So tell us all about the Blue Lagoon.
Okay, so I run the Blue Lagoon Water Sports Park. I specialise in kiteboarding.
Right.
We run a dedicated kiteboarding facility, I guess you would say, there. And I have a friend who runs a windsurfing and stand-up paddleboard facility out of the same complex. So jointly we call ourselves the Blue Lagoon, and we also have quite a famous restaurant called The View. Which is part of a chain of restaurants in Thailand, one of the nicest restaurants that we're very lucky a few years ago they opened up in our complex.
Perfect.
So we actually have a very, very nice facility that we have some park area and children's playthings, and we actually probably, I would say, have the nicest beach as close as you can get to Pattaya. We would probably have the nicest beach.
So where exactly is it located?
It's just down, you probably know the Ambassador City Hotel. So we're street number 14, Soy 14, just before the Ambassador City Hotel. So we're the last right-hand turn off Sukhumvit Road before the Ambassador City Hotel.
And how long's the business been going?
So I came over here in 2007 and the club had been closed down. So the owner of the club actually asked us to come over and reopen it, and then we managed to form a partnership with Amara Windsurfing, and so I'm part of the Kiteboarding Asia group. So we have a group of 10 schools in Thailand, and then we got the restaurant in, and now we've got a pretty comprehensive water sports park down here.
Right.
So we're into our 8th year now. This is our 8th Thai season, so we've been going quite a while now.
Yeah. Is there enough wind? Because I know you need a certain amount of wind.
That is a great question. But, when we originally opened the club, this was the main concern that our group, our franchise had, that there wasn't going to be enough wind.
Yeah.
But the equipment has come forward in leaps and bounds, and the equipment, light wind equipment, is very, very good now. And I'm 100 kilograms, and I still get out riding a lot on the correct equipment. So for teaching, light wind is a very, very good idea if you're going to learn kiteboarding or windsurfing as well. It's very, very safe. We've never had an accident, in the 7.5 years we've been running. So people think that kiteboarding is an extreme sport, but it's a very safe sport, provided you have a few lessons. And then, like I say, just because the equipment's it's a fairly new sport. Kiteboarding's only been around sort of 15 years. So the equipment has come a long way, and now we really do get out riding quite a lot. It's a winter season, so which is the opposite from most places around the world. It's thermally generated wind, so the heat from the sun generates the wind, which you would normally have in the summer. But it's a strange thing to get your head around if you're into wind sports. But in the winter, you get a greater temperature differential between the day and the night. So you actually get more wind here in the winter, which we're very lucky because this is our tourist season as well. So we get those 6 or 7 months of thermal wind, and it's almost every day. And it's not very strong. We talk in knots with the wind, and it may only be around 10 or 15 knots, but this is perfect for learning. And then if you have the right gear, it's fine for riding. So it's actually worked out very well. So I'm very happy with the way everything's sort of come together. So
excellent.
Well, that's always been something that I've been concerned about when I've looked at kiteboarding, because you watch the professionals, and there is so much wind. And you think, well, as a beginner, how would I cope with that?
Yeah, I would. I just got back yesterday. We were over in Taiwan. We do a trip once a year. This year we went to Taiwan with a lot of the local expats, and it was 30-40 knots of wind over there. And I would certainly not recommend anyone starts in that sort of wind. You need around that 10-15 knots to get your skill levels up, and then maybe you might want to move on to, we do, like I say, we do trips to windy places, but only when your level's, at a competent
stage
level.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what sort of are the particular? Is it? What am I trying to say? Is it a masculine or a feminine? Do you get many females trying kiteboarding?
We don't get a lot of females, and there's absolutely no reason for females not to learn kiteboarding.
So I always think it's quite a strong.
We had
sport,
last year we had 2 10-year-old girls come in, and they are now competent kiteboarders.
Right.
So in fact, one of our early Maureen, she learnt how many years ago? Quite a few years ago, and she's now an instructor. So she learnt as a teenager, and she's now working as an instructor. So, and she's a slight character.
Wow.
There's very little strength involved because you actually hook yourself into a harness.
Yeah.
And there's very little power involved with turning your arms. In fact, I can do it just with those 2 fingers. So it's definitely not a strength sport.
Yeah,
It's certainly a physical sport though.
Yeah.
If you go out when you learn, or when you're a beginner, if you go out for an hour or 2, you'll be exhausted. But once you build up your stamina, you can stay out riding all day.
Wow. What's the sort of youngest that you would teach?
We don't really like going any lower than 10.
Okay.
I would probably make an exception for a heavier, confident child down to 8, but really 10's really you certainly wouldn't be, we'd be doing it very carefully and trying not to scare any kids. For the first 2 lessons, you've got an instructor holding onto the back of your harness, so no one goes alone for the first 2 lessons. So
presumably, if there's very little strength involved, you can do it. Sort of much more mature people could do it.
Yeah, we've had, I think, 65 or 66 as our upper. I mean, I've heard of people in their 70s still out kiteboarding.
Wow.
So if you just go out and we call it mowing the lawn, just riding backwards and forwards. It's actually very low impact sport, but physically it's a great sport.
Tiring sport.
Yeah, you'll know the next day if you've had a good run out on the water.
Okay.
How much of a learning curve is there? Can anybody who's never been on a surfboard or a kiteboard, can anybody go
I would say
to...
probably half of our customers have zero experience with water activities. So the ones that have a bit of windsurfing activity or paragliding, some sort of, or sailing, some sort of wind activity, these people have a little bit of a head start, but there's no need to have any other sort of experience. But have basic swimming skills is a good idea. But we do provide flotation vests and things like that as well. And we generally teach in the shallow water as well, so it's not a problem either.
And how long does it take to sort of get competent?
We do a 3-lesson course. In fact, I came over to Thailand 10 years ago to do a 3-lesson course, and that was enough just to stand up on the board.
Right.
But in those 3 lessons, you learn a lot of safety stuff. So the idea is to get people practicing on their own. But as long as you're attempting a board start, then that should be all the skills you need, and all of the other safety skills will be taught to you during those 3 lessons.
And does that get you to the mowing the lawn stage?
No, you'll be attempting to stand up.
Right.
Some people, it's amazing. Some people are really just naturals at this sort of thing, and we've had people able to ride left and right. But I certainly wouldn't tell someone that we can get them to that level.
Right.
People would be disappointed. So generally, we're trying to get people up on the board, and we have a pretty good record of people being able to actually stand on the board. So, but it's a challenging activity, which is why you have to do lessons. Yeah. And but because it's so challenging, it's a very rewarding sport. Once for years we'll be learning new things.
Yeah.
So it's funny. Some people, they don't like it because it's challenging, but I mean, some type of people love it because it's challenging.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's funny how different people. Some people want easy things to be easy. But of course, if life was easy, if there's no challenge, there's no fun, really.
What's the sort of cost for a beginner's course?
The 3-lesson course is 11,000 baht. So, which is exactly the same price that I paid when I came over here 10 years ago.
Wow.
So it just shows you that I think is very, very good value for money. It's about half what you would pay, say, in Australia.
Right.
So we're quite a bit cheaper than some people like myself. I came, subsidised my ticket to fly here by getting the cheap lessons here. So it might seem expensive, but value for money for the service we provide. It's about as good as you'll find anywhere in the world, I would say.
I know the equipment's pretty expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, the equipment is expensive, and I actually have my own brand of equipment that we're making some of the equipment. Right. This is actually my brand here.
What's it called?
It's called Magnum.
Magnum.
So our equipment is a little bit cheaper than perhaps. It's a lot cheaper than some countries, but it's just to try and get the cost down. We've started producing some of the equipment here in Thailand. So, but unfortunately, you're looking at a couple $1,000s for a good set of equipment. But of course, once you have your equipment, that's it. But we provide our facility free of charge. There's no fee or anything to come down and come down and use the facility. So everyone's welcome to come down and use our facility free of charge. We have showers and everything like that.
How many sort of expats do you have with their own equipment?
We have people coming and going, I would say we have somewhere in the range of 40 or 50. We just did our annual trip, and I think we had 15 people go on our annual trip this year. So it's a churn, of course, and it's slowly been increasing over the last 7 years.
Right.
But I mean, you know how expats move through this town, and then some drop off, and then some. But it's been a steady climb. And we're kind of a social club as well. We have normally once a week we do a dinner somewhere or a trip somewhere or something like that. So it's even it's not just for the kiteboarding. It's a very sociable sort of. You get very kind of like-minded people who enjoy that style of activity.
And what kind of nationalities dominate?
The dominant ones are European. We have some Russians, and Russians get a bit of a bad reputation, but we have quite a lot of good Russians come through our club, and they make up quite a few of our customer numbers, and I've certainly got nothing against Russians. They make they're good customers, and they tend to be quite happy. Again, it's the type of people that do kiteboarding. They tend to have a good mentality, good outgoing, fun kind of activity. But we're mainly European. But we're getting a few more Thai people coming along as well. We try and cater to the Thai people as well as we can, and. But we want to have a balanced club.
Is it much of a family sport?
I've had several families come through, and we've taught the whole family. Okay. So the girl I was telling you about, who's now an instructor, we taught her and her two parents as well. So it's a great family activity, and we also, in our club we have the stand-up paddleboard, and we have canoes, and we have a nice beach, and I would say the restaurants, it's a beautiful. I'm not sure. Have you eaten at the view?
I have actually.
You've been down there, so you know where I am. And you've been there, Caroline? No, you haven't been there.
You've got to go.
So and you go down there at night. It's a beautiful. They put the bean bags out on the beach. I would say it's good, almost as good as cabbages and collards, really.
So it's very nice.
It's definitely family orientated. So we have little kiddies slides and things down there as well to play around on.
Do you get a lot of returning customers?
We have
on vacation.
Yeah, we have some people that come back each year and do lessons. Kiteboarding is something you really need to keep your skill level up. But no, we have. We would probably most of our customers, they come here, they learn, and then they'll go back to their own country. About a quarter are local expats, and then I guess actually most of the expats that come and do lessons, they end up hanging around, and quite a lot of the expats we have in the club, some of them have even said that they wouldn't have stayed in Pattaya as long as they have, but they've kind of become part of the club and met a lot of people through the club. So it's it adds to people's quality of life as well. Yeah. So this is the thing about Pattaya, you end up getting on that cycle of just going out and drinking and working, and you really it's really good to break it up with something else.
Sounds good. Mike, thank you very much for coming.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Good luck with
Very good, thank you, Carolyn. Nice.
Good luck with the Blue Lagoon, and
yes.
Check it out on Sukhumvit.
Yeah, feel free to come on down. We can even offer a bit of discount to locals as well if any locals come on down.
I'll ask for Mike.
A bit of a look.
Okay, thanks, and stay tuned for part 2.